Tasha's always harassing me now. I can't live life without Tasha harassing me.
That's my job. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Chatbout Toronto.
Yes.
I'm your host, Miss T.
And I am your other host, Malizia, aka Mel Black Rose.
So today, today we're talking about...
Let me just take a sip.
Take a sip, right? Today we're talking about coping with loneliness. And given the fact that we are still in the midst of a lockdown here in Toronto, and I know a lot of places around the world, still in a lockdown, still dealing with the COVID measures, still isolating, we decided to do this episode to kind of touch on what people are feeling and what everyone's going through, and ways that you can possibly cope with dealing with this, right? Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
We have been in an extended period of isolation that we've never experienced before.
Did you ever, I used to watch movies and think, oh man, I would never want to be,
right?
I would never want to be in this situation and look at this. I would never think that this was something that would actually happen, because I kept on telling people, don't worry, because I remember we were supposed to go to carnival. I'm like, there's always going to be a carnival.
Always.
Don't worry about it. Let's just not worry about that. Let's get our money up and blah, blah, blah.
Yes. Here we are, still on lockdown, with no foreseeable future of coming off of this lockdown. It just seems like it's continually to be prolonged. Every few months, it just feels like, okay, back to another lockdown, back to another.
Yeah.
So it just feels daunting and overbearing, and everyone's tired of it.
Yeah.
We're all losing our minds a little bit, dealing with
a little bit,
but a lot.
A little bit.
I know for me, being a single woman is one thing, but being a single woman that's locked in her apartment is another thing. And that is something that has started to weigh on me and wear on me, because normally, even though you might have your stresses of life, you have work stress, you have family stress, you have all these different things, money, all the rest, but you have your social aspects of your life that would help to relieve that pressure, the stress. You go out, have drinks, you go to a club, you go to a boat ride, you go over to your friend's house, drink, smoke, have a good time, you free up a little bit, right? But now it's like you're just stuck, not being able to have any release.
Right.
And that is definitely starting to affect me.
Yeah, and I feel like with some people it was hard for them at the beginning, and now they started coping, but now it's coming back because it's again, like you said, there's no future. We don't even know when the lockdowns are gonna stop. We're here, and I was reading something, and it said something that really hit me. It said millions of Canadians are suffering from depression during this time. So one of the doctors was stating that this is the era of the loneliness epidemic.
Wow.
This is the loneliness epidemic that we are all suffering at this point, at this time in our lives.
And it's horrible. Like I said, it's one thing for you to be a single person, or not have kids, or not have a partner, or not have those things are dealable. You still feel some loneliness sometimes, but it's an entirely different thing to be on lockdown. And I feel like the millions, I think it's millions more, because millions of Canadians were already dealing with depression, and now I think it just is compounded because of COVID and not being able to get out. So we're going to try to stay light and not make it be a doom and gloom episode. But, it's hard to not. It's really hard. We have to just deal with it. It's just reality. This is a real show that talks about real shit.
We're human beings.
We're humans. And this is what we're dealing with, right? So we try to take a different approach to try and, bring some tips, tricks, things that you could do to cope. And hopefully, somebody will get something helpful or useful out of it.
Have you felt lonely during the has there ever been during this pandemic, have you felt loneliness?
Yes. And I live with my daughter, so I'm not entirely alone in my house, right? But I've definitely felt alone. Even with somebody being in your home, you can feel alone, right? And I know sometimes you guys start to get on each other's nerves, and so you retreat to your own space. So she's in her room, I'm in my room, and you just feel bored, you feel alone, you feel frustrated, you just like unproductive, like it's a spirit that just holds you, like you just don't even know what to do with yourself because you just don't want to be where the fuck you at. Like, I'm tired of being in the house. I am tired. I want to go out. I want to socialize. I want to hug my friends. I want to, I want to have sex. I want to see man. I want to like, I want to have some drinks and just chill out outside.
Yeah.
And it just feels so frustrating. Like, so yes, I've definitely felt alone and lonely and just...
And I feel too, as much as I love working from home, I think that working from home sometimes adds... I didn't realize how much I didn't like what I did. I didn't realize that it was my colleagues that was keeping me cope.
Girl.
Like, to me, it was just like, I have so much gratitude for you and everybody that I work with that I actually had a relationship with.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't for them, I honestly don't know how I went through every single day dealing with it.
Absolutely agree
and
with you.
Working from home now is creating a different type of loneliness because now you're secluded with everything, because at least work was that escape, know, as much as you hated to get on the bus, you still saw someone, or you hated to drive, there was still something on the ride that or whatever that got you.
You listen to your music, you tune into your tunes, and you just zone out and you get to your job, and that was your outlet. Like, and even the stresses of our job, like that in itself is so heavy. But I also agree with you, like I never realized how much my colleagues helped me relieve that stress, and how much sometimes after you hang up the phone you might just vent to your neighbor, or you get up and go take a walk, or you go on another floor and go check your girl or whatever, and it helps you relieve that stress. But now you're literally sitting after every single call, after every single task, dealing with the stress of it, dealing with all the work, the heavy workload you have to deal with, and all that stuff. So it just ends up being, and you're literally just sitting in your own space, staring at the fucking wall, trying to figure out, like, what is this life, bro? Like,
like I felt like a number when I was physically going into work, but now I actually really feel like I'm a number. I find during this pandemic, and employers are they're happy because their stats are up. But they don't care about the mental health of any of their employees, because a lot of us are going through a lot of things. A lot of us are living alone that are single. A lot of us are living with someone and still feeling alone. There's some people who are in horrible relationships and they're stuck in this situation. And I just find that there isn't anything. The employee is just saying, well, money has to be made. Let's just keep it pushing. And it's just like, it's messing with us.
It is. And there's people who have like a lot of people in their homes too. That's the other side of it, where there's families where you have your husband and your wife and your kids and the in-law or whoever, and they're just, the kids are running amok. They're tired of being in the house too. So they're all over the place. They're giving you stress. Like sometimes a lot of people's release has been getting the hell out the house. Right? And now you can't. So now you stuck with them little demons that you made that are tormenting.
Love your children. And then you're feeling depressed. Then you go homeschool them. They're all online. They're doing stuff that you're just like, what is going on?
Times people are just like, yo, just let your teacher deal with that shit. Now you're home. You're seeing how the fuck your kids act in school because they're doing it with you at home. You're like, this is what you do at school,
right?
But it's a stress. And so it is a lot to deal with. But back to the loneliness of it all. Because that's just COVID stress. But like the loneliness part, is, and the isolation part of it is really what is resonating with a lot of people. And there's some ways that you could get release and relief from it. So...
Well, I know. I think we have to look at signs. You have to understand the signs that you are struggling from loneliness, because I think a lot of people are just literally going through the motion and they're not realizing that they could be suffering from some sort of depression, anxiety, etc. So I think there's certain things we have to look in with us to know that if you're struggling first, because some people, some people are okay, which is rare. I don't know many, but some people are okay.
Some people are.
I feel like if you find yourself on social media And I noticed I was doing that. I was just scrolling for hours, and
that's me.
Like sometimes for no reason.
Yeah, it's your go-to.
Yes.
Like every time you have a spare moment, you go to social media because it's a release.
You're like,
it's like your mind takes you somewhere else. It almost feels like you're going somewhere else because you're looking at things that are outside of your everyday, you know?
Yes, and then watching the news constantly, getting, triggered
Turn
by
off
everything because you know what? People are dying, the COVID numbers are going up, police are still shooting people, COVID didn't slow nothing down. We're still watching murders on the internet. Like, I don't know when this became something that was normal or okay. Like, I don't understand how, like, I understand we need to see these things, but now we're just people are posting it without, like, sometimes you can say, click view if you want to see it's disturbing. It's just right in your face. You just switch because you're just scrolling. Yeah. Sometimes you randomly just see it and you're like, whoa, did I just witness a murder?
Yeah. I am very cautious of what I consume online and in general because I don't watch the news. I've turned news off years ago because years ago, suffering from depression and stuff, I would literally come home and watch the news and cry every single day for months. I would come home and cry, and I just could not do it. So I stopped watching the news a long time ago. I'm also very much aware of the conditioning that happens when you watch news, and so that's the messaging that you are constantly being fed, and it does take a toll on what you think and how you process things and all that stuff. So I stopped watching the news. And then, like, when we watch, like, honestly, there is no need to keep watching or keep seeing the murder of Black people. Like, I just, as a Black person, I just don't want to see that. I do not want to witness another murder. I know it happens every day. We're not immune to this, but I definitely don't want to watch it. And I also feel very badly for the families that have to keep seeing their family members and their videos of their family members' murder being spread and shared and all the different comments and I just can't. That does nothing positive for anyone that's watching it.
And I think a lot of people don't even realize that people are starting to gravitate because they're lonely and there really isn't anything else that they can do, like anything positive. And a lot of people are stagnant. They're not going for walks or whatever. So they're watching these things and now it's creating a negative energy within them.
Right.
So they're now pushing or they're spewing hate, they're spewing anger, they're spewing whatever, not realizing it's the stuff that they're actually just lonely.
They're ingesting it.
Yeah. Another one is your sleeping patterns. That's how you also know that you're struggling.
By that.
Girl,
I don't sleep.
3 o'clock every day, I'll go people them in bed. How am I having conversation with people in Ghana when they're just rising?
They're now waking up and you're supposed to be in your bed sleeping. I have been having a really hard time sleeping. And it's been for months. I don't sleep. And when I do sleep, it's very light.
Yes.
I'm almost catnapping. And I'm fatigued most of the time because I am not sleeping. And getting up all the time, checking the clock all the time. I don't know why. Like, I just don't know. I just cannot sleep when the nights come. And it's not like I don't drink excessive coffee or anything like that. Like, sometimes, yeah, but most of the time it's not that. It's just, I don't know if it's things on my mind. I don't know, like I was saying to Bella, I don't know if it's some kind of bad spirit. I don't know what it is.
Something it is because I'm not sleeping either.
Yeah, there's something that is definitely keeping me awake. And I know that there's practices that people say, don't use your phone before bedtime, all these type of things that, keeps you stimulated. But honestly, it's not that, for me anyway. Like, I know for certain people that nothing used to keep me awake. Nothing at all would keep me from sleeping. If I'm ready to sleep, I sleep in it. No matter what's going on. I will sit down right here and sleep. Noise, party, it doesn't matter. But now I cannot sleep properly. Like so that is another sign that if you're having sleep patterns are changing, you're not able to sleep, or if you're excessively sleeping, that's another sign that you could not be coping very well with the loneliness or the isolation, is that you're trying to sleep away the days because you're bored, or you don't want to deal with life, you don't want to face life, you don't want to deal with what's happening. So that's the other sign of
have you started feeling like me not feeling, because one of the things is not feeling motivated to
Mm-hmm.
call back family members and friends.
Yes.
I'm not a phone person. I've never really
Yeah.
been a phone person, but now sometimes when the phone rings, I get anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's that ring. Once I hear the ring, it's kind of like, because now I'm hearing a ring in my home for work.
Right.
Which already gives me anxiety because I don't know what I'm gonna get when I answer that call.
Answer the phone.
And now I'm getting that same feeling when family and friends are, and being single and being alone. It's weird because you know that people need to call you.
Yeah, they're
because
checking
they
up
need
on
to
you.
check up on you, because there was a man on my floor during COVID who died.
Really?
And nobody knew he was dead on the floor. Nobody knew he was dead. He didn't really talk to anybody on the floor. But it was weird because there was one day that it smelled bad. But I thought it was because it was near the garbage. So I was like, oh, okay, this is weird. And then turns out he was dead for like weeks.
Wow.
But because he was ill, he didn't have a lot of body fat, so the odor wasn't as strong.
Right.
And the only reason why they found out was because he was supposed to get something and he didn't pick it up, so they called his daughter, who hadn't spoken to him in 30 days or plus. And that's when they knew that something was wrong, and they went into his house and they saw that he was dead.
That's horrible. That is actually really, really sad. That is terrible.
Right? And as a single person, it's like I appreciate, like, my sister always constantly calling me, texting me, sending me messages. My mom, my brother's checking on me every single day, but some days it's like I have to like force myself to pick up the phone because I know that I literally have no motivation. Like, I don't want to hear about drama or,
I feel the same way. Sometimes you're just like overwhelmed, especially when you have like, you're the go-to person for the family, right? So sometimes you're just like, I don't want to hear what y'all are dealing with today. I am good. Just leave me alone. So sometimes that's how I feel. And, that's the other side of it. Like, we just like, I was just saying to my daughter the other day, I'm like, no offense, babes, but sometimes I just feel like I wish I could just pick up and go somewhere else by myself and just live by myself on my own, start over fresh and not have to deal with everything. And like, it's not because I don't love my family. I love every single one of them so dearly, but sometimes it's just a lot, like it weighs on you, It's too much.
Have you realized that, I don't know, I'm just noticing a little bit of a trend that because a lot of people are dealing with loneliness and because of the coldness that's in North America, like we don't check for people, we don't call, we don't whatever. A lot of people are thinking of, there's like this exodus of people who are going back to where their family is from because they're tired of the loneliness here.
Absolutely.
Because now it's like we were so used to being independent, but now we're understanding the importance of community and just wanting. So a lot of people I'm seeing are prepping and preparing or already made the trip to get out of here because they understood that they were struggling with that whole.
Absolutely. And that is another thing that that's one of my key things. I've always wanted to move back home or move to a warm country.
Right.
Because that's how I feel. I feel very disconnected from who I am as a woman and as a person. I feel disconnected here. Even though this is my home and it's been my home for majority of my life, I still need and want a warm climate, and I feel like that is where I would thrive most. I also really love a community type of living. I don't like that I don't talk to my neighbors. I don't like that people will walk by you and not say good morning and shit like that kind of stuff. I'm just like, who raised you? Like, girl, fuck. So, and then also the other part of it, and I talked to my mom about this the other day, is quality of life. And I think that that's something that we do not value enough here in the North American society. We work. We have a little bit of downtime. We sleep, we rest. We might go out and do something, but we're back to work. Yeah. And I think that is one of the things that screams at me is wanting a better quality of life. I really want to live. I want to be happy. Right. I want to have joyful days. Yeah. I want to have a community that I enjoy engaging with. I want to be able to free up, party, everything else. And I know the climate makes a big difference in that feeling for me. Like I was talking to my mom the other day, like for Easter, they do this every year. Like they go to Tobago, they rent a home, a nice big ass house with a pool in the back, and it's about maybe 8 to 10 of them, couples and singles, whatever, whoever, family,
Just
friends.
liming.
They just go on lime. Everybody brings food, they buy groceries, they put stuff in the house, they bring their liquor, they bring their music, and everybody just frees up for like 4 or 5 days. Chilling.
Can you imagine? We don't even go to.
We could do that
we
here.
don't even go to Barrie.
Right?
It's so hard to even collect people
Even
to
just
do a
to get
cottage.
people together to do a simple thing. Like, yeah, like we could do that here. We could rent an Airbnb and do that shit here. But we don't even think to do those things. Like, you know what I mean? So those type of things, and that's what I said to her. I'm like, you know what? Even though I'm not able to come back home as often as I want, or I may not be able to migrate somewhere warm right now, those are the things that I'm going to try and implement, because we need quality of life.
Right.
We need to enjoy ourselves.
And you know what's funny? I never ever considered moving out of Canada and moving to Ghana until COVID.
Really?
I've never had any intentions of living there, or I had plans
like to visit and
to
all that
visit,
stuff.
like go once a year or whatever the case may be. But I've never had the intention to live there. But now that I'm getting older, and again, I don't have any children, and I live on my own. I've been living on my own for like 10 plus years or whatever. And then I'm realizing I'm somewhat lonely, like with COVID, because it's not like I can go out now, because when before we were always just working, you don't even realize spiritually you're alone. Like you're alone. You're distracted. Right. Because you have your 1-2 drinks, you're partying, you had a good time, you went, you go home and then work. But you're not really paying attention to what
you need.
Yes. So for me, that I'm now starting to prep and plan to see within 2 years, 3 years, if I can actually move back home.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're so focused on, oh my God, Canada, we get our income tax, and then if life happens, we can get welfare and we can do this.
Yes.
And that is
those are
how,
great social things.
Amazing. Because we have to say our parents brought us here. We are privileged with that Canadian passport.
Absolutely.
We are, because now we can pick ourselves up and go to where. Because if we were living somewhere else, we wouldn't have that same advantage to do that. But we have to go out there.
Yeah.
Because Canada can be a lonely place.
It can. And I mean, it's always going to be our home.
Always.
Right? You're always going to be, like, this is your home. So you're always going to come back here. But, there's definitely other life and other lifestyles that you can enjoy other than this one, So.
Have you noticed that one of the other ones is losing a sense of routine? That is one of the signs to know that you are struggling with loneliness or depression or whatever during this time, is that you're not showering regularly. There's things that you usually do, like you would read all the time, you've stopped reading, you're literally just doing nothing.
Yeah. That's been something that's affected me. Not the showering part, because girl. But
some people aren't brushing their teeth or washing their hair.
There's some people who are, you're right, like not getting dressed. They're just like, even if they're showering and everything else, they're not putting any effort into them. They're just wearing their sweats around the house. They're not doing their hair. They're not doing, again, because a lot of things are closed, they can't do what they would normally do to keep themselves up. But also just like working out, going out to the gym, doing the things that you would normally do in your routine. Yeah. Because of COVID and because of the lockdowns, it's kind of thrown a lot of people out of their normal routine. So you're just kind of drifting,
so
It's very sad. There's so many people who are just like, they don't know what to do with themselves, and so they literally don't do anything with themselves, right? They just sit.
Yeah, and that's good that you brought that up, because that's another thing, is that you're just sitting there. But not only are people just sitting there, they're thinking negative thoughts. Like just
overwhelmed,
uncontrollable negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And I find sometimes that happens to me, and I guess I can talk about the coping after. But I just realized that because I'm an overthinker. Sometimes I overthink unnecessarily, right? So, pre-COVID, I was always busy.
Right.
So I've always, again, my mind has never really been whatever, but when I was actually alone and had this much of alone
The
time.
time to think,
Girl,
and reflect.
the things I was thinking, I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
And that's the rough part, because you don't realize how, like, with all the time that we have, and then also with all the things that you're hearing, you know, about the vaccination, the non-vaccination, the mandatory vaccinations, and not being able to move, not being able to this, all the things that could be in the vaccination, all, like, there's so many
Yes.
things that are coming at you through the news, through the media, through all this stuff, and all, just even the conversation that you have with people, that it's hard to stay positive.
Yes.
It's hard to not feel fearful. It's hard
Yes.
to not know, especially when you feel like you're out of control. Right now, a lot of people feel that they are not in control of their lives, and that is a very fearful place to be, where you don't know what's going to happen to your family, you don't know how you're going to be impacted, and what restrictions are going to be placed on you, and all this kind of stuff. So it's hard to not think negative thoughts. It's really a difficult thing, you know, at these times. So we definitely have to identify, like we just said, identify what it is that could be, that, you know, could show that you're not coping very well, so that you can recognize that you need to start doing something different.
And it doesn't even have to be extreme. I think these are things that you should just be looking at, period, because it's just like, those are things you can actually work on to be able to cope before you end up in the, like, the far end where it would be harder for you to come back. So it's like, so what are some of the things, like, I know that we both are struggling because, you know, through this whole thing, we've been working, we've had medical issues, personal issues, family issues. What are some of the things that you do to cope?
Well, one of the main things that I do...
I need some dick.
No. One of the main things I do is I cry.
Really?
Yes.
So what does that do?
I cry because sometimes you're holding so much stress, so much tension, so much... Your body is tight with all that you are dealing with. Okay. That crying is a release for me, anyway. Like, sometimes I just cry for no goddamn reason. Like, I just need to get, you know, when your heart feels full, your body feels tense, you just feel,
so it's like a release.
It's a release. So that was one of the things I do is I cry. And I know that not everybody wants to cry. I sometimes lock myself in my room. You know, I let my daughter know, I'm going to be in my room for a minute, okay? And she's like, okay.
Do you tell her you're crying?
No, because I don't want to worry her, right? And so sometimes you just want to be alone with your emotions. And that's the other thing. Like, when you have someone in the home with you, you're not able to do that without them worrying. Yeah. So sometimes I'd be like, I'm just going to be in my room cleaning and this and that or whatever. And she's like, all right, cool. Meanwhile, I'm balling down the fucking place.
I'm sorry for laughing.
So it's okay. But meanwhile, I'm just like,
so what you want for dinner? What?
I make sure I cook everything, and I'm like, okay, I'm in my room, okay? She's like, okay. And then I'm like, but like, that helps me. That's one of the things I do. And the other thing I do that kind of helps change the mood and gets me a little bit motivated is working on my projects. Like, you know, I had a lot of plans prior to COVID hitting, and a lot of them got derailed. But I've just kind of pivoted, changed the things I was working on to new things that I'm working on. And so I try to throw myself into those things and feel like I'm making progress with that so that I can kind of help. And then the other thing I do is music. Music has saved my life.
So how do you force yourself to, especially during this time, and there's a lot of things that we're going through, like, psychologically, how is it that you're able to focus and stay motivated to stick with your projects?
I'm not always motivated. That's a big thing. So whenever I feel the motivation, I run with it.
Okay.
But I know, like, it's a lot of self-talk. It's really a lot of self-talk, a lot of calming myself down, not letting my anxiety take over. Like, one of the things that I suffer with is anxiety, right? And it's been something that I've been dealing with for like almost 10 years now. I get stress hives, I start itching everywhere, I get, you know, all these things. So during this time, it has flared up again.
Right.
Excessively. So I do a lot of talking to myself. I try to calm my mind. I try to convince myself that you know, better days are coming, things will be fine. You know, I definitely have faith, so I am a believer, I pray. And I kind of just try to calm myself that way. But a lot of what motivates me is just really me just talking to myself and trying to say, like, one day we're gonna, like, nothing lasts forever. We're going to get back to life as we know it, and we're gonna get back to doing the things that we wanted to do. And so get yourself prepared.
So it's like self-talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of it is self-talk. It's just me, you know, and not everybody's capable of doing that, because if you have negative thoughts running around in your mind, it's not easy.
Right.
To then switch to be like, yeah, everything's gonna be good. I'm gonna keep da 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 da. So
yeah,
you know, but that is something that I try. I also try to listen to affirmations, and I listen to podcasts and different things that kind of put me in a positive frame of mind. Again, one of the other things that I try to do is to be thankful and grateful for what I do have and what I am able to do. And I'm thankful for simple things like my eyesight and the ability to get up out of my bed. And although I may be challenged working from home, I'm happy that I have a home to work from. And, you know, just little things. So I try to stay in like a place of gratitude, because I think that is also what I found that helps.
Help cope, because you realize, oh shit, I'm alone, but it ain't that bad.
Right.
It ain't that bad.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the first thing is music. 100%. Like, music can, I don't care if my neighbors are upset, if they're mad. I'm putting on that music. Yes. I'm listening to the music to keep me going and keep me like motivated.
And it helps to just even fill your home.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like someone else is there because the music is playing, right?
And also, for me to be able to cope, I did quit my part-time job. I've had a part-time job for 5 years. Well, no, I've been this one place I've been working for 5 years, and I can tell you, yes, I have less money, but leaving that place, I don't know. Like, I don't know what happens. It's like your whole body just adjusts, and it just starts changing.
Shifts,
it's like this. I didn't realize that I was living with this extra weight on my shoulders, on my chest, on my back. And once I sent that email that I was resigning, it was just like God just everything just, you know, came out of, they just, I don't even know. I'm thankful. I'm so thankful that I was able to have the courage to do it. But I knew that something had to give for me to be able to continue on, because the depression I was feeling is not like, I don't wish depression on anybody, because people don't understand the things that are going through your mind when you're dealing with what you're dealing with at that particular time.
The battle with yourself is the
worst. That's you're your worst enemy.
You're your worst enemy.
Yeah. And the third thing is meditation. I've been focusing on meditating, and I've been consistent. I've noticed a lot of changes. Actually, you know, it's just weird. My body doesn't even, like, I know my day is off if I didn't meditate in the morning.
Really?
No. And as soon as I wake up, the first things I say is I thank God, I thank my ancestors, I thank my spiritual guides. And before I go to sleep, I have a gratitude book.
Right.
And in the gratitude book, I will write, you know, something small. And even if I have nothing to write, I'll still put in that date and just say, I am just grateful to be alive. And that's how I'm noticing that I'm literally...
That's good.
Starting to... Oh, look at me.
That's so good. I have to start meditating, and that's something that I've been trying to do.
Insight timer is
free. But I definitely need to do that. Yes. I want to and need to meditate. That is what we are supposed to be doing.
We should be. If
everyone should be meditating. Every single person. You have to be in tune with yourself, the God inside of you.
Yes.
Your emotions. Like that is, we have to go within, and it's something that we always ignore it. We negate that thing. We're just like, tomorrow. But it's so crucial to your mental well-being and the calmness that you feel and the reassurance that you feel when you meditate.
Girl, and I'm not even a super Christian at all. But I've been listening to T.D. Jakes and Reverend Ike, who Reverend Ike actually passed away. And he talks about like mindset and this and that, and just like I'm noticing the words are very important because it's deeper than religion. It's more of they're trying to make you recognize yes, and how important the words are and what you ingest and what is in your ear. And I realize that that's also a way for people to cope. Like, you should be listening to positive. Like, I'm not saying that you have to ignore the negative, because negative and positive will always coexist. You never not like, you can't exist without the other.
Right.
But if you're able to have a balance, or somewhat of a balance, you need to not only ingest negative thoughts. You can't only just watch the news. You can't only just listen to conspiracy theories. And a lot of the things that they're saying, I'm like, I agree. Check. Right. But it's like,
but you can't let that be the only thing that consumes your mind.
You can't. You need to. If it's a poem, if it's you writing something, if it's you listening to something, like, I can attest that no drug that the doctor can give you for your anxiety, for your depression, will ever do what your mind can do for yourself.
Absolutely.
That's just my...
Agreed.
Right? Yeah. I feel like I want to cry. But
I know, right?
Anxiety. Sometimes I just want to slap.
Yes, and I fight this.
Anxiety, slap. Depression, slap.
It's so true. It's so true. Man.
Girl, it's deep.
This is deep.
It's
okay.
Deep. The way it's deep.
So they said, like, some of the things that you should be doing to cope with loneliness is that you should nurture the relationships that you have with your friends and family. Right? That is... Don't kill me.
So I can't stay home depressed.
Nurture the good relationships that you have. Make sure that, you know, you reach out and let them reach out and have conversations, check in, you know, reach out to the people that you do have in your circle, because not a lot of people have it. Everybody doesn't have family or friends or a network and all those things. So if you do have that and you're blessed with people who care about you and who, you know, check for you and your well-being, keep them around, because they can sometimes save you from being pulled down in that depression and that, you know, that spiral that you could sometimes get caught into.
It's funny that you say that, because I had a conversation with one of my close family friends. I don't want to say the relationship, but we kind of don't really talk because of her husband or whatever. And she randomly called me the other day, and I answered. I didn't realize it was her, and my anxiety just went right when I heard her voice. But something told me to answer the phone, right? Yeah. It just told me that this is the time to answer it. So I answered it, and she was just talking. We were connecting. We were just talking. She was just, because she had to ask me a question. It was a question where I could answer it right away instead of her going through all the extra stuff.
Right.
But then we got into not having certain people in your life and the positive things that she said, how I influenced her, you know, and not being a part of it, and especially during COVID, how it's affected her, really touched me.
Wow.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I'm meditating every day, and one of my mantras is I live in forgiveness. I let shit go. You know what I'm trying to say? Not let everything go, but
we have
you're not whatever.
Forgiveness is for yourself.
Exactly, right? And because you can't control that other person or what they're doing, but you also don't realize how much you touch people, how much the relationships you have with people. And I had another friend a couple of months ago just randomly call me at the blue at 11 o'clock at night.
Really?
Usually I wouldn't answer, and I answered. She's like, "Can I come over?"
Aye.
She came over, and again, we're talking, and I'm hearing. I didn't even realize. Sometimes you don't even like, you're sitting here at home depressed and alone, but you don't even realize if you are a good person, you don't even realize how you're affecting other people, because when you're in that mindset of depression or loneliness or, you know, negative thinking, you're only thinking about yourself.
Right.
You don't really think about how you affect people. So as much as I drank my drink, you're right. You have to nurture relationships because that's how it's going to make you feel Like, you're a fucking human being.
Right.
The fuck?
We are. We're literally, yeah, we're literally humans, feeling and being, you know. And you're right when you say, like, you don't realize the impact you have on someone else's life. You don't know how you inspire people. You don't know how much you comfort people. You don't know how much just knowing that you're okay makes them okay.
Yes.
So, you know, definitely keep contact with people and talk to them and answer the blasted phone when people call you. And
Steak to the heart. Yo, sometimes my ringer, like, yo, people don't understand. COVID, my phone has been on silent. Like, the only time I will be able to respond to you on the quickness is because I'm doing the mundane scrolling through Instagram. Yeah. But once I check that phone and I shove it somewhere,
that's it.
People can be having real important conversations and I won't respond for like hours.
Oh my god.
And people are probably like, what the hell is this girl doing? But it's like,
you're just checked out.
I'm checked out. Yeah. Phone's off. I'm literally, it's not a beef thing. It's just, I'm checked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you catch me when I was scrolling, yeah, I'm going to respond to you right away.
And then by the second comment, she's gone. You're like, you was just answering me. Fuck did this girl go? Like,
and then I respond hours later, like, yeah.
Yeah, like tomorrow. Like, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Or sorry, girl, you was just there. You see how she fucking laughing? Because she damn well know what she's be doing. So the next thing they say to do is take care of your body. And that is mind, body, and soul.
Everything.
You have to find your practice. Like some people, like Mel said, meditate, work out, eat well, you know, get outside for a walk. Even though we're in isolation, we can still go outside. Like, fuck them. Go outside for a walk.
Every day, go for a walk.
You know, I know people who are literally in their house, not leaving the house because we're on lockdown. Doggy,
that's crazy.
You're going to go mad. Get yourself out of the house, go for a walk, get some fresh air, look at the trees, look at them little squirrels. Like, it's springtime now. Even if it's raining, put on your raincoat, get out the house. Because you like that, just being isolated alone is enough to send you crazy. So do things, take care of yourself, you know, like we talked about, you know, doing like self-care days, you know, pamper yourself, have a bath, lotion your body.
Do your self-care Sundays, self-care Sundays. What? Everything, your whole body.
You know, sometimes you just do the quickest thing.
No. Love yourself.
Lotion on yourself.
Right?
Take 5 good minutes.
One day.
Tenderly.
Just one day. Right? Like everything, because where are you going?
Exactly.
What are you rushing to do? We can't go nowhere.
Exactly.
Exfoliate your body.
That's right.
Put on some lotion.
Do that facial.
Grab your, yes, because I don't know about anybody else, but I make sure once a week I take that time. I smoke my Littleton. I get myself organized.
Exactly.
I get myself whatever. And you know what's even more crazy about this? A man told me that as a woman, I used to do the facial because you know I have issues with skin and stuff like that. But like taking a bath.
Yes.
Like taking a bath once a week. He was just saying like to me, as women living in North America, we don't realize that we have a lot of masculine energy.
Yes.
Not necessarily because we want it. It's because of the way society has structured us to be.
Yes.
And so that we lose touch of being a woman.
The femininity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to learn how to do little things to bring it back. It doesn't matter if you're alone. If you're alone, you can still love yourself. You can still take a bath. Yo, put that bath on. Play some nice music.
Light
a candle, like a nice scented candle.
If you have a little diffuser, put the diffuser, make it bubble up in the room and fill the whole bathroom with a nice scent.
What?
If you have a little cannabis bath bomb, girl, drop that in there. You know, like there's so much you could do to just make yourself feel good and take care of yourself. And like I said, just love on yourself because we ain't got nothing else to do.
Yes.
And you may not have nobody else to love on you, so just do it yourself.
Because my bed is all that left side of the bed. I even was able to flip the bed because like, you know how like you
you sit on one side of the bed, it's such a cave in.
Sorry.
And I flip the bed.
And I felt the bed, I was like, oh, this is
this is like a new bed. It's true. You have to flip it and turn it so that you can get the new side. Girl.
Right? I go for, and the thing is, I do go for a walk almost every day. I remember some of my friends were laughing at me, like, "Oh, what? Yeah, granny, what? I go for a walk." But
yeah,
I was going for a peace of mind because while I'm walking, I'm listening to positive affirmation.
Right.
So I'm going, and surprisingly, the beginning of COVID, I was 180 something. I went down to 153.
I can't believe that you were even that.
Listen, I can't believe it too. But when I stood on the scale, I saw the truth. I can't be in denial. And I was even looking at some of our old Chatbout episodes, and my face was chubby. It's just because I was at home.
Chubby, but like,
okay.
This is what you call a chubby face, okay?
See what I mean? Discrimination.
But it's okay.
But yes, the walks are important. And also during those walks, you can talk to strangers. You never know who you're going to meet while you're walking. I remember the other day I was walking and I met this nice lady. I had my earbuds on. I'm on the road. This woman about to cross the street and she's not looking that the light is red, right? So I looked at her like, bitch, like, come on. But she didn't realize I had my earpods on. So she's chatting away. But I was like, at first, I was just going to keep the earpods on. And
pretend like you never heard her?
Yes. But then I was like,
she's talking.
Yeah. So I pulled the earphones out. Do you know we walked from Davidsville all the way to Yonge and Eglinton?
What?
Past and went into Winners and we were literally talking. I don't know her from anywhere.
Oh, wow.
I knew about her mom. I knew about she was well-traveled.
You see what I'm saying? Everybody's lonely and they want to talk.
Girl, she telling me
has nobody that she could say, like, interact with.
No,
so,
her mom, her mom, who's not well, so it's like, join the club with the rest of us.
Right.
And one thing she did say to me was, it's like you just get these positive, lately, I don't know, it's just with all these strangers I've been meeting, it's just positive reinforcement. This woman was like, yo, pick your shit up and get the fuck out of here for a bit. Get out of here, experience the world.
That's right.
Experience everything. She says she's been to every single continent on this planet.
Wow. Really, eh?
So yes, COVID, so, you know, she's just this little white woman, but it's just like, COVID, obviously she's here because of her mom,
right?
But she's already experienced a piece of her life that she'll never ever regret or take back.
Regrets.
And imagine she's telling me, and I'm feeling. Remember, earlier I was just saying this is the first time I've ever felt like moving anywhere.
Yeah.
And this random strangers telling me to pick up and go.
Yes. Wow. That's the thing, and sometimes those messages come just from some unexpected place, some weird source. And you're just like, you never even thought, how did you know? Like. Right? But that is the universe giving you confirmation that you're on the right path. Keep going. That's what you're supposed to do, right? So that's amazing. And you know what too? The other thing too, like when you interact with people on the street, like strangers, that's the other thing that you don't recognize or realize is that little interaction that you have with them could have been the highlight of their day.
That's true.
It could have been the one thing or the one person that they got to speak to that day.
That's true.
You could have been the one person that maybe somebody you never even know. Like
that's true.
Depending on the person, like I mean, people make comments and you sometimes get offended. Or you're like, But like I've had conversations with strangers and they'd be like, you know, I've never actually had a heart to heart with a Black person.
Wow. See?
You know, and I was like, what? But then you have to really think about it. Like if you are living your life and going about your day and your society and your community is who they are, you may not have Black people that you interact with on a meaningful level.
And how would you?
How would you, right? So that I had to just check myself and I was just like, but then I'm like, okay, stop. Right? But that was a positive, you know? So you just never know how you impact their thinking, their, you know, confirming to them what they need to know about you as a woman, as a race, as a, you know, all these different things, as well as just bringing some sunshine to their life because they needed it.
And this is the perfect time for us to be bringing sunshine to other people's life because that's going to be able to help you cope because it's going to make the feeling of doing good and making someone feel good will start making you feel good.
Yes.
That's just how the science of it. There's really nothing. There's nothing in the world that you can overly explain. It's just simple. It is what it is.
Simple.
That's it.
So the other thing that you could do to make yourself feel good is get into stuff that you like. Things that make you feel good. Hobbies, find a new skill, find a new, a new practice, pick up an instrument. Something that makes you, something that you can learn, something that, stimulates you.
There is so many, all the universities are offering online courses.
Oh gosh.
For free. For free.
Yes.
There's yoga online for free. There's so many businesses that are trying to get up to the times to be able to provide support, for you to be able to find a new skill, for you to be able to find a new hobby, for you to be able to listen. Like, as much as people complain about Clubhouse, at least Clubhouse, you're listening to people who think, like, who are doing something that you're interested in.
That's right.
And then you want to pick up and do that for yourself. Because I know some people who are doing so many amazing things by just, COVID just gave them the time to
give
do
them
so.
the time. Yeah, you're able to dive into your.
Yes.
Look how many little businesses have spawned off of COVID season, right?
Yeah.
Because they've had the time to do their practice, their hobbies or whatever, and develop it into something that they can monetize.
Yep.
That, as you just touched on, Clubhouse. Clubhouse is another thing that people. I think Clubhouse has been the savior for a lot of people, because those who are lonely and don't have a social network, they can jump on Clubhouse and talk to people that they may not be able to talk to on a regular basis, as well as having to meaningful conversations about things that they're interested in.
You know how many times I fell asleep on Clubhouse? Like, you know how many times I've been in a group? Like, so what happens with Clubhouse? You end up creating a group of friends that year. Granted, I haven't created my full core group, but there's certain people where I'll see them and they're having a small little chat. I'll join in. And it's come to a point where sometimes listening to them talk soothes me.
Oh.
And I fall asleep.
Wow. I need to try that shit because, girl, like I said, I ain't sleeping.
Right? And it's not even like, and I'll wake up and I'll realize
they called on you and you didn't answer.
Keep busy, y'all. Find ways to keep busy.
Yes.
Find something to do. And I think a lot of people get triggered when they hear that, because they think that people are saying, go be a multimillionaire when you get there.
Right.
That's not what we're saying.
Not at all.
The small steps that you can do to keep your mind busy, to find a hobby, even coloring.
That's right.
Just coloring.
Just coloring. And there's no judgment. There's no like, oh, if you don't start a business during the pandemic, you're a waste. Like, it's none of that bullshit. Because let me tell you something. I used to see those memes in the beginning, and at first I was like, yeah, we should use this time. But you know what? Everybody's not a fucking entrepreneur, and everybody does not want to start a new business. Some people just want to get to their fucking job and get back home to their family. So it's not about that. There's no judgment, but it's just about stimulating yourself and keeping yourself busy so that you don't feel the loneliness and you don't feel consumed by it, right? It's just that.
I agree.
Nothing else.
That is pretty much it. And monitor your health. Find support online, okay? Like, I can't stress this enough. I understand that therapy is expensive. I get it.
Yeah.
But
if you don't have benefits, girl,
it's expensive. It's
expensive.
$200.
It's like $200 a session.
Yes. However,
but you have
to put in a little something. Yeah. Like, we're not spending money now going to restaurants. We're not going to clubs. We're not doing bottle service. We're not doing. Yeah, we're not, because traveling will take your whole piece of money. You know what I mean?
So invest it in yourself and your well-being.
Yeah, invest in it.
You're worth it.
You are.
We all have trauma. We all have issues that we need to get through. We all have things that we need to get off our chest. Things that we may not be able to communicate to our friends and family.
Yes.
A therapist will be the person for you. So you may not have to go all year. But maybe book a 2-3 sessions and just talk about some shit. So
yeah. Or you can
it helps.
Online now. There. I think it's better health, better something, where it's completely affordable.
Yeah.
I will make sure I send it so we can put the link in our chat thing.
This episode.
And then you can actually like just go and talk to somebody, and it's affordable. Like, it's, you can talk to someone every week and you're not paying like an arm and a leg. You can talk to them online, you can talk to them over the phone. What I also been told is that if your work offers an EAP program, sometimes dive into it, because sometimes you may catch that good therapist.
Yes,
that
I had one.
will change you.
Yeah.
Right? And because I've always heard negative things about the workplace, EAP is like the employment assistance program where they offer free counseling, but because they can only state that they can help you for short term,
right,
a lot of people have said a lot of negative, stayed away from it, or you'll hear negative reviews about it. But what I'm hearing is that sometimes you can catch that one therapist, like your example, that can change your life.
Listen, I caught one therapist that she was just gold.
Gold.
I was so pleased. It was a short term, but she, in that 1 or 2 sessions that I had with her, just filled me with everything that I needed to get me out of the rut that I was in, to move me past. This was after I had my surgery and stuff, and I was just feeling so tentative and so scared and so all the things that, like, about my life. She said exactly what she needed to say to me in a quick, and like, she just nailed it. Right and away. I was like, okay, I got it, let's go. Like, and even she was like, she's like, you're just like so receptive. Like, I'm just so happy that I can help you, blah, blah, blah. But it was really good. So do it.
Yeah.
You may not always get the best person, but try it.
Try. Like, let's just try. Like, during these times, it's created so many challenges. And if you live alone, you may need a particular type of vigilance when planning your time in order to ensure your mental health. Stay informed. Limit your exposure to the 24-hour news cycle and social media. Take initiative to reach out to your friends and family, and be deliberate about what you eat, how you're moving. Throw yourself into meaningful activities. That negative talk all the time, like,
kill it.
Yeah. I mean,
kill it. You have enough negativity in life. There's enough people telling you negative shit, so don't tell yourself negative shit, right? Try to minimize it. It's not easy, but work on it.
And don't push it on others either. Like, don't push your negativity on other people. Like,
as Tabitha Brown says, have the most amazing day. But if you can't have the most amazing day, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's.
You hear what she has said?
Right?
But I think this was like,
this is not the usual jokes episode, but it was a necessary episode. Yeah. We needed to talk about this because it's definitely something that a lot of people are coping with and dealing with, and we needed to talk about this. So we love you guys.
We do.
We are here. If any one of our viewers is ever lonely and wanted to talk, please reach out to us. You know, we are here. Always. We're always on our page, Chatbout Toronto. We are on Instagram, on YouTube, and we'll talk back.
We do, as long as it's not perverted and asking out dates. Because I just got a message about a date. So
no. But we'll talk to you. We'll keep you company. We will. And we got lots of episodes too. So that's the other thing you can do when you're bored and lonely is watch some Chatbout episodes.
Catch up. We always got the week. But you know what? What I also have to say about I'm glad we're back during COVID, because we did take a long break.
Yes.
And I feel like coming back and doing Chatbout has also helped me cope. And I also feel like we're helping other people cope, because some people have actually messaged me and said, thank God that you guys are, because everybody, at first people were judging us in regards to the content that what we were talking about here on Chatbout. Oh, we're serious Black women. We want to talk about serious issues. We don't care about sex and relationships and blah, blah, blah. We're better than that. But and me and Tasha actually stayed true to who we are. We stayed true to ourselves, and people are actually messaging us and saying, you know what, Mel? Yo, thank you for this episode. I needed this laugh. Right. I had no laugh today.
Exactly.
So again, there's abundance for everyone. I think, and I really want people to, before I leave today, I really want people to understand there's abundance for everyone, and there's something for everyone. Just because something is not for you doesn't necessarily mean that you have to talk down on that other person.
That's right.
Because you're having your audience, we have our audience, and we do what we do, and we're so happy that we're able to even make you guys feel happy and spread joy, because that's what we're here to do.
That's what we're here to do. And everybody's different. And we're all multifaceted. So it doesn't mean that we're one tracked, that this is all we think about is like sex and man, this and that. Like, come on, like, we're humans. So we have serious sides, we have professional sides, we have all these things as well. Yes. But this is the platform that we choose to bring to the audience and bring to the public and talk about and be real about. Yes. Relationships, sex, women's issues, and dating.
And sex.
And that's the reality. And sex.
And some more sex.
So thank you guys for watching. We hope we brought you some tips and some tricks and some little, a little bit of laugh today, so at least you could get out of the funk that you might be feeling. So Join us next week. We have more episodes for you, and we're out.
It's all love. Peace.
Love y'all.